Greetings, everyone. My name is Kari Toring, and if you found my patron page through my website, then you'll find there are many free things that I do for the public, including monthly rune pulls and information about the Old Norse rune, or the Old Norse moon calendar, and I'm also going to be posting some things about my new upcoming projects that I'm very excited about. First, there is the new rune book, and I will be posting readings from my new book as part of the process of creating the book, and you can look forward to that both as a free visitor as well as deeper into the $5 category. And then I'm also excited about my projects with these nature instruments. The bone flute and the willow flute are the two projects that I'm most working on this year. Willow flute is something I have more experience with in terms of having made one in 2009, or a spring flute from PVC pipe. And this is, so it's basically a hollow tube flute, and ideally you cut the willow in the spring, and you work the core out of it, and then you can put a little notch in it, and then you create a little some sort of a mouthpiece for it. This one I made with the fabulous Arna Rennan at North House Folk School, and it was made in September. And there's some things about this that I'll talk about in my other levels. And you can hear me play this flute and a poem about it on my Nickin and Bear CD, which is free at through Minneapolis public libraries, so you can just look it up. Bone flute is, on the other hand, is something that I haven't got a lot of experience with. The oldest known bone flute that we have in Europe comes from the Paleolithic, and it is the femur of an adolescent cave bear. So that's not the kind I'll be making in Denmark when I work with Aksel Striim. The most common is sheep bone, because sheep were the most common and the most important, really, of the animals in the Iron Age, late Iron Age. Moving away from saying the Viking era, because Viking is basically means piracy, and while there was piracy at the time, it was a small percentage of the population, but the rest of us benefited from, or maybe didn't benefit from, that piracy. And so I like to call this era the era of wool sailcloth, because these ships of piracy, these Viking ships, these long ships, would not have gotten as far as they had without the sails. And these sails were made from the fleece of 2,000 sheep. Each of these sections of sail, 750 or so fleece. And this is a really important thing to remember, that which fueled this age was not free wind, free trees. It was the labor, a great deal of labor that went into making these sails and making these ships. And cloth was one of the most important trading tools. So anyway, that kind of gets into my philosophy around studying things that are connected to what academics started calling the Viking era, and around 1600 or so is when academics began to describe this part of history. So sheep bone is probably likely a friend of mine, artist who did the cover work on my CDs, gave each of us friends these hollow bird bone, and it's so I don't know, it might be something like that. But it won't be PVC pipe that I'm using, and it won't be modern tools that I'm using. It'll be maybe something like flint to cut things. Well, I will have iron as well, so it could be a little saw. I don't even know because I haven't taken the class yet. So bone flute lessons start in Denmark in May, and if you want to travel with me, join my Patreon page, and if you just are curious about all these things, just keep coming back, and there'll always be something for everyone here. All right, thanks everybody.